Hello ballers and welcome to your 5.2 update for that protection warrior. Alright, 5.2 didn't bring any changes really for our prot warrior. It was a kind of, we're happy with the design kind of aspect from Blizz. They are more than happy with how that prot warrior rolls right now, and I don't blame them. For the ideas of active mitigation and so on and so forth, the prot warrior in a pretty good place. Might not be my preferred play style of just building rage in order to decide how should we block damage, but it does give us something to think about, and I like the way both our defensive abilities, shield barrier and shield block, actually go ahead and have quite a large effect on our incoming damage without just being a straight up heal or so on and so forth. Love it. So we're going to get into this debate, people. Now, this is a touchy zone for me. Touchy zone. The very initial guide I did for 5.1, you can go ahead and click that in the background, by the way, guys. That generally stands for everything you need to know about playing a protection warrior, enjoying your protection warrior, and being in pretty good shape. The only change, realistically, in gearing, is a big movement towards stamina for your gemming, just building up masses upon masses of health as your gear level increases, just to cope with those big scary moments, okay? That is generally the only thing. Going for a combination of mastery and, of course, a lot of stamina. You're going to see a lot of tanks rolling with a lot of stamina as their gear level increases, especially if you're running that heroic content. Other than that, you're pretty good. There isn't many hits out there that are going to kill you with basic gear level stamina. I'll leave that choice in your hands. Now then, shield block, shield barrier. I've not really done this before, but I'm going to do it now. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that opportunity to read from you from the math heroes. Because the last time we did this debate and I pushed people towards shield barrier, oh my god. Holy shit, did that unleash a can of worms from people who were just flat out wanting to disagree or just say that they knew better, so on and so forth, even though the math heavily pushed them towards one way, and looking for very specific situations where perhaps shield block was better. Let's talk about these, okay? Let's talk about these bad boys. What is shield block? Okay, shield block is a buff that we can put on ourselves that does not get consumed. Okay? It does not get consumed. That's why the one way to look at it is shield block does not get consumed. Once we activate that shield block, that buff is on us. It is done. It's there. And it's going to go ahead and block any of those attacks that come at us and prevent a significant amount of physical damage along the way. Shield barrier, however, can be consumed. It is an absorb shield. It works on magical damage, which is awesome. Absolutely amazing. Works on magical damage. Works on all sorts of any damage. It is just a flat out absorb. Think of it like a disciplined priest shield. Almost a spirit shell and the amount of stuff it can absorb. Now, good and bad. Shield block is good because it doesn't get consumed. Shield barrier is good compared to other classes' abilities. I'm looking at you, Frenzied Regen, and I'm looking at you, Word of Glory, which are heals, because a shield barrier works regardless of how much HP you have. It is an absorb. It increases your health effectively. Okay, it puts a nice big chunk of invisible health upon you. So they're both really good. Although I kind of think shield barrier is a little bit weird. It's still a good spell, okay? It works all the time. When it comes to our abilities like Frenzied Rejuve or Word of Glory, obviously we need to have taken some damage in order to warrant those abilities, unless you're using some kind of set bonus. Okay, so shield block is a buff that's on yourself for a certain amount of seconds, and shield barrier is an absorb that can be used up. Now, what am I doing that I don't normally do? I am going to read to you. Are you ready? I'm going to read to you. Now, this is taken from Elitist Jerks. This is where those guys who love the math of the game and do extreme amounts of testing come up with the numbers that we tend to use in order to decide our characters. Mostly, I like my guides to cut all that out, and I just give you the answer. But some people, of course, don't like that, and I don't really want any confusion. Full credit here goes to Thek, a long-time tank and a big mathematician, and also to Failbear, who runs the thread over at Elitist Jerks. The link is down below. Go and read it if you really want to read out all the math. It's a long-ass post, but I will quote you one particular line. Theks and my own work, based on Simcraft, okay? You know how much weight we put into Simcraft. Simcraft is not ideal, but it is what we have. both show that shield barrier reduces melee damage taken 10% more than shield block if you are getting hit very regularly, i.e. your vengeance level is on par with the incoming damage. So what does that mean? That actually throws a lot of things out of the water, because you might believe, holy shit, I have a lot of melee mobs whacking away at me. Therefore, a shield block will consistently block all that damage and therefore should be better. That is our gut instinct. If I have 20, 30, hell, even 6, 5, 4 mobs all meleeing me, my instinct is in fact to use a shield block, because it's a buff that's on me, it's not going to get consumed, and they're just going to be consistently blocked, dodged, or parried, which sounds good for good, smooth damage intake. I'll continue. However, if you are starting tanking the boss, or he does a very strong melee attack only once in a while, shield block will be your choice directly before the attack. Think about Thrash there, okay? Think about things like Thrash. Huge amounts of melee damage coming in, obviously going to be absorbed by a shield barrier. Therefore, shield block would be the preferred ability there, as you can instantly, continually block that attack. I'll continue again. This spread between the abilities will continue to grow with better gear, as shield barrier gets better with more avoidance, whereas shield block gets worse. So what does that mean? Of course, as we get better and better gear, we pick up a lot of natural avoidance. Reaching our hit and expertise caps, not that hard once we start getting good gear. Therefore, our avoidance naturally picks up. Even though generally we're not overly aiming for avoidance with a prot warrior, it still grows and grows and grows to the point where maybe we are thinking about avoidance. As such, shield block tends to not be as useful, because if you don't realize how things work, you either miss, dodge, parry, or get hit. First of all, if your boss swings at you, you either get hit, or you parry it, you dodge it, or miss it. Then if you hit it, it either get blocks or hits. So what that means is you are literally on a 2-roll thing. When a boss swings at you, the game checks whether it's going to dodge or parry you first. Okay, before it even considers blocking you. It either misses you completely, or you dodge or parry it. If it hits you, and it doesn't get dodged, parried, or straight up misses you, then the game checks if it's going to block the attack for you. As such, with more avoidance, less and less times are you being hit, making shield block less effective. That's what that means. Blizzard nerfed shield barrier in 5.2 by 10% to put them on equal footing on entry-level gear. However, better gear shows once again the lead of shield barrier. So many of you are now thinking, okay, so I just use shield barrier. No. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Remember, these are sim-crafted results, and it all comes down to what are you dealing with. Okay? What are you dealing with? The other advantage of shield barrier is that it can be used below 60 rage. Shield block requires 60 rage. Shield barrier does not. It caps out its effectiveness at 60 rage, but can still be used before that, allowing you to use smaller 20, 30, anything in between 60 rage shield barriers to continuously smooth out damage intake. The conclusion, or conclusively, I read again from this post, it depends. And that's what I want to put in your head. It depends. It really does depend, and it's time to start using your gut instinct. The only thing that goes against your gut instinct once you reach higher gear is that when you're dealing with many mobs, in fact, shield barrier can in fact be a good 10% less damage taken, which might surprise some of you. However, shield block leads to more DPS. These are all things you need to take into account. Shield block increases critical block, but it increases in rage, and so on and so forth, and leads to a lot more damage. Is this a fight where your damage is a major key part of the fight? Shield block might tend to be favourable there. I read the conclusion to you again. It depends. Start of the fight, or seldom melee spike damage, use shield block before the spike damage. Okay, so we've got the big thing coming, we've got our thrash coming, and so on and so forth. Use a shield block there. Heavy magical damage, or just regular damage, use a shield barrier. Moderate damage, use shield block for more damage done. Those are the basic rules you're going to roll with in this discussion. There's nothing else to take into account, but it depends. Have we got some big burst of physical damage that's going to smash us in the face coming up? Then having a shield block up is a great idea. A really good idea. So part of it doesn't just get absorbed and we suck the rest of the attack straight into our gut like we're taking a missile in the belly. We don't want that. Is this a magical damage fight? Well, shield block ain't gonna do shit there, okay? We need some shield barriers thrown in there. Is it just regular, normal melee swings that we don't really care about? Then again, shield barrier is more effective as you're going to not be using that absorb instantaneously and waiting forever to build rage. Is this a moderate damage fight where we've got no real danger of being killed? Is this just normal damage, nothing scary going on? Using shield block increases our DPS. Our healers are fine with moderate damage fights, so we want to push our DPS. Alright? That's the situation. That's how we decide shield block versus shield barrier. A couple of simple rules to go by, but ultimately it is down to your gut. It is down to what do you think is the best situation here? How do I deal with this? What is the best thing for the raid? What is the best thing to reduce my damage done? Do I need to worry about my DPS here? This is a wonderful, wonderful design because the idea of shield block versus shield barrier is very dynamic. It actually shits on the idea of the other tanking classes mostly in terms of what they can do, because they have active ways of pushing themselves forward and each of them are useful in their own right and actually overly useful more than the other abilities. It's what I really, really like about them. Mixed on top of that is Prot Warriors can just be hella fun. Their mobility is retarded and I look forward to getting into them in our comparison video at the end of the week. But for now, that is your 5.2 update. I'm so happy I got to take another look at shield block and shield barrier. Let the confusion begin in the comment section. Let it roll free. Let everybody come in with their own mathy opinions. There you go, guys. You take it easy and have a great day.